Live from the new Life Center studios in Coconut Creek, Florida, and Phoenix, Arizona. It's Nothing Worthwhile, giving you the latest news in pop culture, sports, entertainment, and professional wrestling. You know, all the crap you don't care about. Here's Evan Moody and Andrew Gruthius.
After these messages.
You guys suck. Oklahoma, South Carolina, North Carolina. We have these massive rallies, and it's incredible. And they say, well, if they vote, Trump wins. They actually said that. Probably.
When are you retiring from wrestling? When is it going to be? Where you officially are out? Because you're still in.
I am still in, and I'm turning 47 in April, and man, Can
you make it to 50?
I think I can make it to 50. I don't think I can make it past 50. And that doesn't mean like show up for one show every year for the next 10 years. I think at 50, if we don't plan something, I just have to tweet like, I'm out, #see ya.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's beyond my control. Would I like to do something for the audience? Would I like to go out on my terms? Everyone wants to write their last chapter, but that's beyond my control. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, and they have so many great stars now. They're doing gangbuster numbers.
Yeah.
It's also okay for them to be like, you gave us a good run, kid, we don't need you. And then I'll tweet, I'm out, #see ya.
It's weird, right? To be at that point in your life where you're talking.
But that's okay. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. And instead of being like, what the fuck do you mean? Man, I've had 2 decades with them.
You're 47?
I'll be 47 April 23rd.
You could do this for another 10 years. I don't think 50 is the end.
Your words, I hope.
It's amazing.
Just how you feel afterwards is tough.
That's true. I don't know.
Virgil just failed $1 million bag by accident. We didn't talk about that again. Wait a minute. You. But you can't make them drink. Ducked in underneath. Look out, he got him. You can't keep wiping him all the time as if he was a baby. But then again, it cost him the match. Virgil. You idiot. You paid the price for 4-2. It's about Virgil now. Now get in here and wrap that thing around my waist. It's going to be the story of your life, huh, Virgil? Wait! True dog! I remind you one more time about your family, about your mother. Give me a break. Virgil, what do you think you're doing? You get down there and you pick that belt up right now and you wrap it around my waist. Everybody's got a price. Oh, he got a price! And take it all back, Virgil! Look at the look on him! A standing ovation here for Virgil!
The window didn't explode right. I'm 47 years old, and it's very difficult for me to do everything in one shot. We have an actor here who films no responsible parent would ever expose their children to.
I lost my daughter. You're gonna get over it. The check you made bounced. I'll get the money, okay? Tell the producers I need some money up front.
Listen, Jean Claude, they took somebody else.
Who? Steven Seagal?
He promised to cut off his ponytail.
Jean Claude Van Damme.
Hey, Monsieur Van Damme!
Yeah.
Petite photo là?
Bonjour.
Okay, good.
Jean Claude Van Damme.
Jean Claude Van Damme is robbing the bank. Possible hostage situation.
Monsieur Van Damme?
Allô?
Jean-Claude?
I want $6 million. Million, okay?
Police have surrounded Jean Claude Van Damme in his downtown bank.
What the hell is wrong with you?
You're an international movie star.
What are you doing?
Live from the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network studios, It's Nothing Worthwhile presents Van Dammit, a podcast about Jean Claude Van Damme. Here's Evan Moody and Andrew Gruthius.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fastest like.
Welcome to Nothing Worthwhile, episode number 121. We are again back on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network, as we are doing it Van Dammit style today, as we take a look at our guy Jean Claude Van Damme in the meta-inspired 2008 JCVD. I am, of course, Evan Moody, but I am not coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. We are here live, face-to-face in the Nothing Worthwhile studios in Coconut Creek, Florida. My partner's name, Andrew Gruthius. Groo, how the hell are you, my friend?
You sound and look so crisp and clean and smooth.
I feel crisp and clean and
There
smooth.
is nothing like being here in person and doing this show live, one-on-one. So it's great to have you here. It's great to be here. It's exciting to be talking about a subject we've been discussing privately for decades, really.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Somehow this sounds vaguely familiar.
Yes, we have seen this before, and no doubt we'll see it again. But the important thing is, what did we think of it this time? And that's what we're going to be covering on today's episode, very special episode of Van Dammit, as part of the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network, which we love so much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So how you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, I'm here for a week in Florida. As all 19 listeners from India know, that I'm here for the pretty pre-wedding week. Spending some time with my best man and best friend, Andrew Gruthius. Basically a lot of couch time, Kit Kats and movies and just fun discussion.
Nothing worthwhile.
Yeah, we were watching Steven Seagal hate YouTube videos.
Yes,
and you know what? They were damn funny.
Yeah, there's YouTube. As I was telling you yesterday, YouTube is insane.
It is insane.
I mean, you almost don't need any subscription to anything if you have YouTube. I mean, everything ends up there.
Well,
you can't,
It gives you everything you want to watch. And the stuff is really brilliant. The production is really incredible.
And people are making a lot of money, like, as content creators.
How do they? Is it based on number of subscriptions and then, like, you get, like, advertising?
I think it's both. Because, let's say, for example, like me, I subscribe. So, me as a subscriber, it's kind of the same as Netflix. If I click on, Cobra Kai on Netflix, it shows up in the data. And the higher the data is for Cobra Kai, the more money it's worth. And the better, the negotiating deal. They could say, hey, look, we have this many people who watch, this many of your subscribers who watch Cobra Kai, so we should be getting this much money. The other way is through advertising. So, that works like regular TV. Like, the advertisers look at the data and say, okay, based on the amount of clicks or people watching, like let's say you and I had a YouTube channel, okay, and we had 100,000 followers. All right, every click, since for the people who are not subscribed, that means anybody, they would get ads. And how much money we make would be dependent on how much the ads would cost to put on. What determines that price? Our number of clicks, followers, likes, all of that. So I just made it sound 8,000 times more complicated than it actually is.
Well, funny, when we were starting the podcast, this guy, Mr. Beast, contacted us and said, do you want to join up on YouTube? I was like, no, you're nothing special.
Wait a second. Mr. Beast is the guy.
He's like the top YouTuber.
Is he the guy from England?
I have no idea. I just know Mr. Beast is considered.
Or is that Mr. H?
Him. I don't know. Mr. Beast, Rogan probably have the biggest YouTube following, so to speak, and Mr. Beast. They talk about him all the time. I don't know anything about him.
I got to check that. Because you keep making mention of that, and I keep pretending to know who you're talking about. But
supposedly, he knows how to beat the algorithm or work in contact with the algorithm to maximize his channel. The guy's apparently he's got a hell of a following. I don't know too much about him, but I think it's more for kids. And
right, but like there are people that there are people that we follow. Like there are a couple of content creators who I find hilarious. I send you clips of that guy.
Yeah.
It's his name is like Slick Stevie or something. It's just this unapologetically male chauvinist kid who just got married to like the most beautiful girl in the world. Besides the ones at New You Life Center, of course. And they're rich people because of they have over 1 million followers, and all they do is make videos all day of how they spend their money.
Well, I did watch.
It's like one big loop.
I did watch one of the videos. The last one I saw was he told his wife he was going to take her out to a very exclusive members only club, and it turned out to be Costco food court.
Yeah, I saw it. It was for their end. He's like, today we're going out for our anniversary, honey. We're going to a members only club today. And then you see her staring at this big hot dog, and he's munching it down, and you see Costco. Yeah, like guys like that, people like that, people who have all these followers, they make money from that, And you like Triple H, 100 mil. What was it? 100 million?
I believe so.
Right. The WWE makes money two ways from that. They make money from YouTube because the more people who watch their shit on YouTube are more people subscribing to YouTube and paying YouTube. So they get more money for that. And for the ads one, the advertisers, like let's say, let's say Peacock advertises on YouTube, they'll be like, well, WWE gets the most subscribers, so it's going to cost us the most, just like TV. The highest television shows, the highest rated television shows have the highest advertising charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I saw the video where Triple H was promoting their YouTube mark, they received like the Red Diamond Award.
Yeah,
it's like one of the only
10 in the world.
Yeah, something like that. So I thought that was
kind of like
cool.
Our Camp Wayne championship belt you made me that time.
That's right.
Yes.
And speaking of New You Life Center, Groo, before we go ahead and give our thoughts on JCVD, let's check out the latest news, and there's quite a bit this week of our favorite 80s action stars. It's time for Van Dammit spanning the universe.
Van Dammit, spanning the universe.
This commercial.
We might have to edit that.
It's good. It's good. This commercial is in honor of Andy's brother, Steven Gruthius. Groo, Spanning the Universe is brought to you by New You Life Center. Begin a new you. Check out all of their wonderful laser treatments at www.newyoulifecenters.com. I believe they have a big Botox party, something going on today.
Yeah.
Give them a call at 602-274-0068. Yes, last night they apparently went to a gay bar in Phoenix, Charlie's.
I know it well. I mean, what? Who? When?
Yeah, Marie had her bridal
I was
party.
at the rodeo last night.
Yeah, we were at the much more manly House of Beers or World of Beers.
World of Beer.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I drank the lightest light beer with like a citrus notes.
Can I, like that part in Teddy's like Michelob Ultra Tuscan Grapefruit.
Exactly. That's
America is imploding.
Yeah, that's the kind of beer I could drink. Go to New You Life Center. Restore your youthfulness with confidence. Let's start a new you. Free consultation, customized services, feel good in an oh-so-stress-free environment. That's New You Life Center. Groo, let's open up with... I just paged up a little bit. Okay, Sylvester Stallone, Groo, was forced to undergo 7 major... Oh, I thought that was something else.
What?
I'll comment.
I'll
comment. Shut up, Robin.
Shut up, Jackie. Shut up, Jackie.
Sylvester Stallone Groo was forced to undergo 7 major surgeries after he suffered a neck fracture while filming a fight scene with wrestler-turned-actor Stone Cold Steve Austin on the set of The Expendables in 2010. Quoting Sly, "I did stupid stuff. I was directing Expendables, and like an idiot, I'm doing like 10 takes, whatever. I remember one slam, and I can feel actually one bang." The Rocky alum 77 recalled in his reality TV show The Family Stallone, which is currently in its 2nd season. Steve knew, added the Rambo star, "I never recovered from Expendables 1. After that film, I was never physically the same. I've warned people, don't do your own stunts." According to the veteran actor, he acquired a metal plate to be inserted into his neck. He needed spinal fusions and treatment for dislocated shoulders. Stallone's latest revelations came after he revealed that he had his 2 daughters trained in self-defense by Navy SEALs prior to his daughters moving to New York City. It was the hardest. It was about 6 hours. We were in these woods. His daughter, Sistine, 25, told the New York Post in an exclusive interview. "Sophia and I got our asses whooped by these guys. They were the real deal." Blah, 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 blah. Groo? I just thought it was interesting about Stallone. He's a very physical actor dealing with major physical consequences. Any thoughts on his revelation? He's had some real physical problems.
Well, it's not really a revelation. His most infamous one was, I think, when he was filming Rocky IV. He
took that shot from Lundgren.
Yeah, from Lundgren, and almost punched his heart through his chest or something. But as you were saying that, I was like, you know what? I think if I remember correctly, I've had 1 surgery in my life. Thank God, only 1. And I remember for that surgery, I was like, okay, I'm going to pretend I'm gonna make certain that all my T's are crossed and I's are dotted. I thought I had like a 50-50 chance of surviving.
Really?
Well, it was a colonoscopy.
Oh my god!
But
you set me up good. But
no, it's not. It's not even a joke.
That's not even a surgery. That's a procedure.
Right. But see, me having been lucky enough not to have had multiple surgeries.
Yeah, that's good.
For me, going under the whatever, not the knife in this case, but the whatever they put up there, going out anesthesia scared the living shit out of me. Just the idea of it. So to imagine the amount of surgeries that these people go through for what they do. We watch wrestling. These guys get operated on all the time.
True.
And Stallone, has a history of that. And so all these guys who do their own stunts, like Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford. Every movie that Harrison Ford makes, you hear it, a new headline. Harrison Ford, he survived a plane crash.
So
nobody survives plane crashes.
So my question is it worth it? Meaning, when I hear Stallone talk about that, I think he's a very physical guy. He's always been into his looks and being fit, and being let me finish here, the epitome of fitness. Do you think at 78, now that maybe he can't do some of the stuff physically that he wants, which could be just a product of old age as well, do you think that he regrets maybe doing some of this stuff? Sounds like he does.
I think if... this is going to sound absolutely awful, and I apologize in advance for saying this, but if you're Owen Hart, you regret it.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry, but but if you're Sylvester Stallone and you're sitting in your pool-sized jacuzzi in your planet-sized palace, knowing that all the bumps you've taken resulted in this, I don't see how you could regret anything. Maybe there are times when he says, you know what, I would have all this if I didn't go that far. Like I had all this before the Expendables,
Do you think Sylvester or anybody, wealth or otherwise, would say, if I'm not physically capable, how can I enjoy it? Like I hear what you're saying. I got the jacuzzi, I got the this, I got the that. But if I'm laid up in bed, racked with pain, am I really?
Depends on it really truly depends on your outlook.
All right.
I mean, if you're looking at like let's shift to pro wrestling for a second, because it's the same kind of thing. Most of those guys end up, I don't know, they never say they regret it, but they lament it because, you see them, so you see a guy like Magnum TA who,
he was a car accident.
Right. But, it's still, what was the car accident? The car accident was when he was driving from one city to another for 9 hours through the night, which they had to do. So.
But I think a better would have been somebody like, we watched a little clip of Terry Funk. If you see him at the end of his life, he had the tremors. He was a guy who took tremendous beating, very physical, hardcore style. He might have left this world with quite a hefty bank account. But if you're so messed up, I think you hit it on the head. Lamenting is a good choice of words.
See, these guys love the business so much that they will never say that they regret anything. That's wrestling. Now, Stallone is in a different story because he's a guy who did, who was in the best shape you could ever possibly be in for any age. So he probably thought he was invincible, just like Tom Cruise, and some do their own stunts for personal reasons and professional reasons. So I'll bet you they all look back and say, you know what, I probably could have gotten away with not doing that. But I don't think I don't, unless it truly impacts their life. And Stallone, I don't know. He doesn't look like he's in that bad much pain to me.
Well, let's move on because you've mentioned
doesn't mean he isn't.
Let's move on.
Okay.
You mentioned Stallone and wrestling, and last Thursday there was an interesting article online. The WWE is apparently targeting Sylvester Stallone for a WrestleMania appearance. The WWE will be in the city of brotherly love. They're aiming for a massive name to come in, according to WrestleVotes. We'll give them credit. WWE is very interested in having Sylvester Stallone in WrestleMania in Philadelphia. It's not clear how far along those discussions are at this time or what kind of role the Rocky actor may have. To be fair, I did read afterwards, later on in the week, that those talks have lost momentum. But let's just put it out there, Andrew. Stallone is no stranger to the world of WWE, having inducted Hulk Hogan into the Hall of Fame in 2005. I don't know if it's going to happen, but let's just talk about it for a few minutes. Groo, thoughts on perhaps Sylvester Stallone at WrestleMania?
I don't see the necessity.
I agree.
They're loaded. They're overloaded, some would say. The only thing I'd really be interested in seeing, and I'm not even that interested in seeing, is like I think what they did with Kevin Hart.
That's how you use him.
Let him do some Rocky Philly vignettes. Do something at the top of the stairs or something with the statue. That would be great.
Yes,
but nothing more. I don't need to see him in the arena. I don't need to see him, maybe introduce him if he's sitting ringside, but nothing having to do with anything else.
I agree. The best way to use him was let him narrate a Rocky WWE themed vignette to get the crowd hyped up before the opening nights.
Yeah,
I agree. One more thing about Sylvester Stallone. We are here in the state of Florida, and Sylvester Stallone announced on his reality show that he's permanently leaving California and is being welcomed with open arms in Florida. The Rocky icon made the announcement on season 2 premiere of his reality show, The Family Stallone. Sly said on the show, and I quote, "After long, hard consideration, your mother and I have decided time to move on and leave the state of California permanently, and we're going to go to Florida." Sly added, "We're going to sell this house. We already have the place. It's a done deal." Since purchasing their home in Florida 3 years ago, Stallone and wife Jennifer Flavin have been spending both their time in Florida and California. Jennifer Flavin, Sly's wife, made it clear in one of her interviews that change was the primary factor, not any concern over crime or anything like that, as expressed by some other celebrities. Quoting Jennifer Flavin, "There's crime everywhere. There's crime in Florida too. So I didn't move because of crime. You could find it anywhere you look, even in small towns, the mother of three said. I think California is probably the most beautiful state in the United States. I absolutely love it, but I just needed to change. Andrew, we're here in the state of Florida. Sly and the Family Stone are heading to the Sunshine State full time. Thoughts?
Well, cool. I mean, he's lived here, or he's had a house here way longer than that.
Well,
he's had a house in Star Island, that area down in Miami where like Madonna has a house, and like you can't get there unless you have your Screen Actors Guild card to get on the island or something. So these people move around from house to house, country to country, place to place all the time because they can just, write a check and say, hey, here's $100,000, move all my shit. Like, they don't have to worry about the stuff that we do.
Oh, understood.
They could just get on a plane and show up and all their stuff will be magically put away. Like, if we're moving, it's like a labor intensive thing. So I don't put much stock in it. It's cool. You want to go wherever you want. If you need change, I'd be interested in what that change is that they're looking for. I mean, it seems like more of a lateral move if you're asking me. I mean, you when you retire, you either go to Southern California or South Florida,
Come on.
No?
You know that Sly's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Business-wise, taxes-wise.
I don't know much about it.
Come on. There's no state income tax in Florida.
That's true.
Florida is much more relaxed in terms of some bureaucratical stuff, it seems like.
But
go ahead.
Well, no, continue.
Florida's had a tremendous growth over the last 10 years. The census, they've added representatives. Florida is
it's certainly growing in popularity.
It's definitely hot per se. Miami, tremendous growth. So.
Yeah, the income tax thing, I don't know what that would entail because, I get paid by a company I get paid from Florida, okay? But someone like Stallone, who probably gets paid from movie companies, whatever, it has nothing to do with Florida unless the movie company is in Florida.
There's no state income tax in Florida.
No, I know that.
That's a big benefit to residents. And why is there not a state income tax? Because Florida makes a tremendous amount over tourism, so there's no need to their budgets are always. Listen, I don't want to get into all.
Does here
Florida? We have a state income tax.
No, I know that.
Excuse me,
no,
Arizona
does. But here's what I'm saying. Take my regular job out of it. Take my summer job. My summer job is in another state. Okay? I don't pay, even if I paid, when I lived in New York, I didn't pay New York state income tax on that. I paid Pennsylvania, and I still pay Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter where I live. It matters where I work. So that's I work in Florida and I get paid by Florida, so I don't get state income taxed on that one. If Stallone is living in Florida but making a movie
come on.
No, I'm just saying
that's a very obtuse,
Yeah, I don't know if that's
well, why do a lot of pro athletes live here? Tampa is a hub for wrestlers. Why do they live? It's
I
for
would think
many
it's the
reasons.
weather.
That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
The other reason is it's income tax and other things, probably bureaucratic. All right. Well, I think it's a good move. Good for you, Stallone. All right. Groo, for Steven Seagal, you know that I am becoming a big UFC fan, so it came to my attention that UFC great Alex Pereira was seen training with one Steven Seagal. Pereira is the reigning UFC light heavyweight title holder. He recently posted a video of his training sessions with B-movie actor. Well, here's the thing: I can't see the video because we're not on Teams right now.
But you can hear it.
Oh, wonderful! All right. Well, anyway, there is a training session with B-movie action icon Steven Seagal. Seagal, who's now 71 years old, apparently agreed to work with Pereira, who defends his 205-pound strap against former division kingpin Jamal Hill at the UFC 300. Wow, they're at 300 already. Which will be taking place Saturday, April 13th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Groo, cue it up. Steven Seagal preview page, second column in fat.
Now you can see it.
I can see it.
There you go. Okay, here we go.
Speaking of fat.
This kind of thing, match the angle.
The Tiger Chung Lee.
I mean, are you?
Yes. You gotta hit him with the pull. What that does is when he punches, you are going to pull.
So we're watching Seagal coach Pereira.
Michael said, I don't care. You know, when we.
Yellow. All right, turn this off. Turn this off. Turn this off. Turn this off. You know, my thing is this. You know, I've listened to enough UFC commentators that do have a respect for Seagal and his skill set. I don't think Seagal, the skill set, whether Taekwondo, it's not a fighting style.
I think it's like Keto.
It's a defensive style. It's just, you know, he might be literally 100 pounds overweight. He's in a big kimono. I just can't take him seriously if he's trying to, if I'm Alex Pereira who's at the top of his game, I think he's probably doing it as a respect thing. I don't know. I look at that and Seagal looks like a clown out there.
I agree. And it's tough it's difficult to watch because, you know, we've said it over and over again. Like in a way, I'm a Steven Seagal fan.
Yes, you are.
But literally, if the guy's made 50 movies, there are only 4 that I like. Oof. But I like them so much that I'm a fan of that Steven Seagal. And
what is it like to be a fan? I feel like it's almost like Billy, like you've waited 30 years for something of quality, and you're just not. I don't think you're ever going to get it.
You're not going to get it. With Seagal?
Yes.
You're not going to get it. I think, for one reason above all, is that he's probably burned every bridge in the industry. Everybody hates him. He doesn't even live in Russia now. Like, isn't he? I don't know. He's like, you know, you won't find anybody with anything good to say about him. Mm. So no, you're not going to get that from him. Could have. It just doesn't look like he's interested in it. But the interesting part is that we were watching. You know, you said we were watching that. Well, and they were very, very well done, but they're like basically Seagal hate, right?
Watching these,
I'm watching. You know, I'm looking at the type of movies that they are, and I keep asking myself, why does he keep just doing piece of shit after piece of shit after piece of shit? And so I'm like, wait a minute,
probably getting paid.
He's getting paid a fortune to do all of this, to put very little effort into it. And who wouldn't take that deal? You know? So, like, I mean, personal issues aside that we know he's got a business model. And if it sustains his life, God bless him. But it's unfortunate for fans because, you know, what could have been? He could have really had a massive, you know, late 80s into the 90s run that lasted way longer than it did. And it's unfortunate, but no, he'll never get that back.
Well, speaking of fortunate, one guy who's had a little bit of a second run, Dolph Lundgren and his wife Emma Krochdahl are officially U.S. citizens. Groo, the Rocky IV actor.
He actually married her? Yes.
And Krochdahl, whom he married in July 2023, took part in a naturalization ceremony in Los Angeles last Monday that marked their official welcome as United States citizens. Photos taken of the Swedish-born Lundgren and Krochdahl, who is from Norway, showed them raising their right hands as they swore an oath of allegiance to the U.S. during the ceremony. Another photo of Lundgren from Monday's ceremony shows him posing with an American flag and document certifying his citizen status. Quoting Dolph, I've been in this country on and off for over 40 years now. I love America and the wonderful opportunities this country has given me. I'm proud to finally become a U.S. citizen and officially make this my home. He adds, it's about time. Wow. Because I knew Krochdahl was a lot younger than him. He's 27. He's 66.
Yeah, that's my guy. Attaboy. You are the man. Bow down to Ivan Drago.
Well, they married in Mykonos, Greece, back in July of 20. They married in Mykonos, Greece. They got engaged in 2020. They met in 2019 at a gym. Oh, How rich. At a gym in Los Angeles where she worked as a personal trainer. The pair made their red carpet debut at the premiere of Minions: The Rise of Groo.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
Oh, Groo's rising when he sees her. Look at that.
June of 2022, they have remained strong. The actor has even undergone years of treatment for a kidney cancer diagnosis he first received in 2015. Groo, Drago, and what are you, Fred Norris? Oh, my God. We can go 30 hours with that, and all of a sudden we've hit... Well, all special effects aside, Groo, Drago, and his wife are U.S. citizens. Any thoughts?
Well, I'm amazed. I would have guessed Dolph Lundgren was a citizen by now, but evidently not. Sounded to me like somebody needed a green card, and I wouldn't have guessed it was him, but whatever.
Somebody needs a green card.
But you know what? And I think you'll agree with me, or I hope you'll agree with me. In this day and age, to hear that, I'm proud to be here. We don't hear enough of that lately, for whatever reason. But it's nice to hear somebody who is not from here, moving here, saying, "Yeah, I want to be here. I'm proud to be a part of this country." It's nice to hear that, especially from the guy who killed Apollo Creed.
Proud to be an American, where at least my know I'm free. And I'm proud to get the man who died, and I got to stand up next time.
But do you agree with that, though? A little refreshing?
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I don't think we get it enough, and I think that the people that go through the naturalization process make some of the most strident
decisions.
No, I think they make some of the best... In my opinion only, they make some of the best citizens who really appreciate the freedoms that we have. And that's all I'll say about it.
I agree 100%. So good story.
Congratulations,
yes.
Dolph. Okay,
yes.
Bye. And the wife with, oh my God, 27.
Yes. Hey, does she have a sister? Older is fine.
We can look into that. Groo, we'll touch upon Arnold, but we'll transition from Arnold
We're going to touch Arnold?
We're going to touch Arnold following her last appearance as Sarah Connor in 2019's Terminator Dark Fate. Linda Hamilton has said, "Hasta la vista, baby," to the Terminator franchise, quoting Linda Hamilton, I'm done. I have nothing more to say." Linda Hamilton said in an interview with Business Insider ahead of Season 3 of the premiere of Resident Alien, quoting Linda, "Story's been told. It's been done to death. Why anybody would relaunch it is a mystery to me. But I know our Hollywood world is built on relaunches right now." Linda Hamilton finally reprised the role of Sarah Connor as an aging, burned-out heroine in the Cameron-produced Dark Fate, which underperformed with critics and audiences at the time of release. Excuse me. Coke, zero sugar, thank you.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, but Cameron reflected he thinks that part of the movie's failure was due in part to the advanced ages of Hamilton and Schwarzenegger. I don't agree with that either.
Me neither.
He said it wasn't even your dad's Terminator movie; it was your granddad's Terminator movie. Well, you produced it.
Yeah.
You signed off on it. We have talked upon this, and Andrew was excited to try. In 2023, Cameron announced at the Dell Tech World that he began writing a new Terminator installment. Again, talking about AI. We have also talked about Netflix is moving forward with the Terminator anime series from Skydance. The upcoming series will be overseen by writer-showrunner Mattson Tomlin. As of right now, Terminator, the anime series, does not have a premiere date. They have a teaser up on Netflix. Groo, I'll say no surprise here that Linda Hamilton has no interest in bringing back Sarah Connor. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. We have talked about it at length many times. So I'll just say what they say in wrestling: never say never, Linda. And the only reason I say that is, do I think that they're ever going to do another one like with the OGs again? No, I think they're both. I think they're done with it. Unfortunately, there was a lot of potential in what they did, and they blew it. They had her. They should have made her the focus. They didn't, and it ended up in the toilet. So I wish that she was more fond of the work that she did, because it's an amazing character, And I think there are still places they could go with it, but I think the last movie turned her off of it. And so, God bless her, if that's what,
God bless her. She blew it! Get out of here, you deaf fuck.
I don't think she blew it.
I didn't care for her performance. I thought it was one note, like sunglasses, craggly, like I'm going to just fucking take out Terminators. I didn't think it was very nuanced. I didn't like what they did with Arnold. I don't blame them, and I don't buy it that it was, your granddad's Terminator.
Right. I'm agreeing with you.
It was not great material. You could put him in there, and if you had better material, I think the movie would have resonated. So there, that's all.
I just think the parts with Hamilton and Schwarzenegger were good. The rest of the movie wasn't. That's what I think of Dark Fate.
I don't even think the parts with Hamilton and Arnold were even that great. So.
But never say never.
Okay,
because what's she doing now?
I guess she's in Resident Alien, which is a sci-fi
Is
series.
that the same as Resident Evil or Evil Apocalypse? I don't know. I'm getting confused.
It's about an alien that's infiltrated into like Middle America, and
so it's like Lord of the Alien Rings. Or something?
No. I mean, like it's like a doctor who's an alien, but it's
that interests her more than.
Well, that might be the only work available to her right now. I mean, she's.
I'll write her another Terminator movie.
All right, well, get to work. Here's a pencil and pen and paper. Groo, Bruce Willis was back in the news, sort of. Former talk show host Wendy Williams has been diagnosed with the same form of dementia that Bruce Willis has. A statement that was released last Thursday on behalf of her caretakers say. The statement said that the 59-year-old diagnosis of primary progressive aphasia and frontal temporal dementia, quote, have already presented significant hurdles in Wendy's life and have behavioral and cognitive impacts. Wendy is still able to do many things for herself. Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care she requires to make sure she is protected and that her needs are addressed. She's appreciative of the many kind thoughts and good wishes being sent her way. I don't need to go over frontal temporal degeneration. Wendy Williams rose to fame, grew in part to her no-boundaries approach to her life, which included sharing personal details about her health, plastic surgery, and cocaine addiction, the subject of her 2003 memoir, Wendy's Got Heat. A hallmark of the Wendy Williams Show, which competed for viewers with Ellen DeGeneres' show, was her signature phrase, "How you doing?" I do remember that. Groo, she transitioned to television after a successful career as a radio host. We grew up in New York. She was known for hot takes on gossip and skewing celebrities, including, I've heard the tape, a contentious 2003 interview with Whitney Houston. In 2022, Wendy Williams' self-titled daytime talk show ended because of her ongoing health issues. Sherry Shepard replaced her, received her own show. In actuality, Wendy Williams, we grew up, she was a New York radio giant. We can go to the clip. Do you want to talk first about Wendy Williams?
Let's watch the thing.
All right, grow to the Moody, I don't listen to Howard Stern anymore preview page, third column in magenta. This is Wendy Williams and Howard.
You'll never be me, Wendy. You'll never be me. You don't have my wit, and you don't have my talent. That's it. That's the end of the story.
That was Howard Stern slamming Wendy Williams on the Howard Stern Show in March. Well, now it looks like the two are ready to forgive and forget.
Nope.
In case you missed the drama, it all started when Wendy said some not-so-nice things about Howard and his new book, Howard Stern Comes Again, on her daytime talk show.
Howard is so Hollywood right now that this book is going to be, this is what you're going to, and Howard, I love you, but since you've gone Hollywood, everything that you say is so predictable. Every story is going to be about, oh, I love this one, and then we went on their yacht, and he's a Hollywood insider now, which sucks, because you started, like me, being of the people.
Preach.
But at some
Where were we
point,
when she
you
was
sat
saying
behind
this?
that microphone for too long, and now
we're not fans of her show.
Howard Stern took offense to her comments and went off on Wendy in a profanity-laced tirade on the Howard Stern Show.
Worry about your husband, not me. Oh, sick of her. Her bull show.
And if you thought that was ugly, just wait till you hear what he said about her appearance and health issues. Remember, this is before she came forward about her addiction relapse and marital issues.
Oh, you, your dumb show, and your mystery illness. She disappears for 2 months, nobody knows why, and now she's questioning me? Thanks, honey. And guess what? I never fainted on my show either. Skeletor. Just shut up.
But in a new interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Howard says he regrets what he said, so much that he's removed the rant from future airings of the episode.
Yep.
Quote,
Edit.
"That was me at my worst. I thought she was saying that I was a piece of and I sucked.
She did.
But as I hear it now, I don't see it as an offense at all.
Nah, bullshit.
If Hollywood means I've evolved in some way and the show has changed, then yeah, she hit the nail on the head."
All right, at least
Wendy
he admits
later
it.
addressed Howard on her show.
I saw that you mentioned me and that you apologized. Howard, you know what? If you never apologized to me ever in your life, you would still be one of the most influential people shaping my career.
I'm okay
you and
with
Oprah.
that.
That's it. He said he loves me. I might have seen something in him that maybe he didn't see or something like that. Like, I love him.
He's
And my heart was so broken when he was fighting with me because I wasn't fighting with him.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's just talk about that clip. What do you think about that? Because I think Wendy hit it right on the head.
I'm amazed we haven't seen that, or I haven't seen that with the way we talk about it. She's saying everything that we always say. I thought those were things that were just never said by anybody of any importance.
No, and Howard went off.
I don't remember this. When was this?
2019. You know, she called him out as a Hollywood insider.
Was that before or after the summit?
Way after. Summit, I think, was 2014.
All right. Well, I agree with you. She said everything that we've been saying, for a while, and that's the first time I've ever actually seen him quoted in sort of answering that part of it. You know, he answered the whole thing about the woke thing before, but this is different. This is like, well, if I'm Hollywood and that means I'm changing whatever, but I guess I'm Hollywood. Well, all right, fine. At least you admit it now. Instead of pretending that this is the best Howard Stern that there's ever been. So I'm 1,000% with her on this one. I just don't buy. He misread her. She was not. She said, "I love you," but I'm just not. That's not what.
No. I hear you, but I mean,
no. She was criticizing. She was criticizing the kind of show that he did. And saying that it's a bummer because you were the greatest.
But that's tough criticism.
Right, but it's not hatred. It's not he took it as saying I think that kind of criticism cuts even worse. Yeah,
because you're not just calling.
But his response proved it. That's the thing.
You're not calling somebody an a-hole. You're saying you've changed your whole approach, the whole content of your show. Yeah, she called him out. She called him out about his book, which I think the book was a complete hack job, lazy.
Agreed.
And that rant, Howard, he said a lot worse that they didn't even cover. He called her a tranny, and so he edited it out in kind of a coward move. He edited out that from future broadcasts, and you'll never hear it on 101 or anything like that. Let me ask you to just go back to the actual article. Are you familiar with Wendy Williams? You know anything about her, and what do you feel when you hear that she's got the same deal as Bruce Willis?
Well, it's awful to hear that anybody has that disease. I'm ashamed to admit this, but the only reason I know of Wendy Williams is because I remember surfing the channels and seeing an absolutely gorgeous, voluptuous woman running this TV show. And I watched it based on that.
Okay.
And based on that, I saw how smart she was and how, I was never an avid watcher.
Neither was I.
But when I think of her, I think she's an absolutely beautiful, tough woman who I'm even more impressed with now. Called out Howard Stern on national television. Nobody else has done that, really. And I actually was aware of her. I know they're doing like a documentary series,
she's
one of those things.
Really rough. I mean, since her divorce, I think a lot of her medical issues were due to alcohol. I think she has some real substance abuse problems. I think that only spurred it on or made it worse. I think actually this is really her last big creative push was calling out Howard, and I think it was really all downhill from there. She looks a mess now. The documentaries are probably a money job, but it's embarrassing. She's clearly not well being interviewed in these documentaries. Her people are definitely not protecting her. I think her son's come out and said, my mom's got real problems.
Yeah, I did read that, Wendy would not want, somebody said, I know Wendy Williams, she would not want people seeing her like this.
Well, but that's the thing. That's why I get upset when we talk about Bruce Willis and that wife of his, that young wife of his, who's probably 30-something years younger, going on these shows. Stop. I don't care if it's the guise of we're doing charity work for the Aphasia Foundation. That's fine. You could do a press release. Be protective of your loved ones. Be protective of their legacy. I'm freestyling here, so I apologize if I'm delayed. But it's the same thing for Wendy Williams. Please keep them off the air, off social media, when they're not in a state to put their semi-best or their best foot forward. I just, here's the thing. Somebody in my family once posted a photo of a nephew. Kid broke his ankle. He was 9 years old, but posted photos in the emergency room. It angered me very much. It's the same thing. Don't show people when they're down. I don't know if you agree with me. That's how I feel.
I agree with you, but I understand the other side, and here's what it is. At least from my perspective. Because I can only really talk about the Bruce Willis situation. We grew up with Bruce Willis. I've told you, he's my number one guy.
Number one guy. We did the mathematics, the Andy Gruthius math.
So part of me.
Do you want Bruce Willis out pictures with him missing teeth?
No.
Looking, not skinny, frail?
No. However.
No.
But part of me sort of feels like a distant family member.
But why do you need to?
I don't need. I just feel like.
Do you want those numbnut daughters posting photos of dad wrapped in a quilt?
It's a personal thing for me. I wouldn't want the rest of the world to see, but I'd want to see because I'd want to be able to try to sympathize and go. I just feel so horrible for him because he's somebody who I've connected with, throughout my life.
Press release.
So
I have no problem. I mean,
fine. No. Like I said, I agree with everything you said. It's completely inappropriate for them to do it, but I can understand why people would be interested because with celebrities, you feel a connection to them that you don't feel with strangers, or that so it's like you feel like a part of their lives, and you feel falsely so that they're a part of yours. But there is that little thing in your head about certain people that just has you you want to sort of I would love to stand. I would love to be able to see Bruce Willis right now and say, dude, thank you so much. Whether you could hear me or not, maybe grab his hand and just say, dude, I don't know. There's a part of me that feels that way. Am I wrong?
You're in some fantasy land, my friend.
No, I know that, but I'm talking about.
I'm not saying right or wrong.
I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the mindset.
But do you want Emma? No. Do you want Emma Herring Willis to go on the Today Show and give us an update on Bruce Willis's health?
Because I don't.
Do you want Hoda Kolb to go? No. When we come back from commercial, we have Emily Herring who's going to give us an update on this.
No.
Okay, I don't want it either.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I guess we're in some agreement.
No, but.
What's the?
No, I have a question for you. Okay,
whenever we try to transition, he always gives me a butt.
Well, because nothing's in black and white. Everything is.
But we're trying to move, a good podcast.
Of gray,
wherever I go, the more I find out, the less that I know.
Let me ask
you this: black and white was so easy for me. Shades of gray, all the colors I see. All right, go ahead. Give me a question.
My question is this: if forget the Emma Hemming, whatever, because she's the flavor of the month or whatever. If it was his own children, would you feel the same way?
Yeah, I just said, do you want Daisy Willis and Tamula Willis? Do you want them to go on Instagram or X and go, here's a photo of my dad?
All right, but it sounded to me like you were saying here's the young wife.
That bothers
picking
me
the meat
worse.
off the,
I don't say picking the meat. I don't say picking the meat.
Okay, but
and I guess in my mind, it might be a little bit more acceptable if the 70-year-old Bruce Willis and his 65-year-old wife. But with that being said, I am of a philosophy that I'm to protect my loved ones, whatever legacy. We're just regular people.
Yes.
But if I had somebody in my family that was famous, I'm going radio silent, and I'm respecting that.
They have that right. And it should not be violated. That's why I agree with it.
Richard Simmons decided in 2014, I'm not going in public anymore. His inner circle and his people need to respect that. Okay, that's the last I'll say of it.
Couldn't agree more.
Groo, we played a clip on the top of the show as John Cena was on the Howard Stern show last Wednesday. John Cena engaged with Howard in a wide-ranging discussion covering his journey to WWE stardom, diverse roles in the film, from comedic performances in Ricky Stenicki to action-packed ventures like Fast X and The Peacemaker. During the conversation, Cena touched upon the topic of retirement from the WWE, expressed a belief that he could continue wrestling until the age of 50, but he doubted he could extend his career beyond that milestone. Cena humorously suggested that upon reaching 50, if no plans for further events were in place, he would announce his retirement via social media with a simple tweet, "I'm out, #see ya." Quoting John Cena, "I think I can make it to 50. I don't think I can make it past 50. I think that at 50, if we don't have a plan, I'm just going to have to tweet, 'I'm out, #see ya.' Everyone wants to write their last chapter, but that's something beyond my control." That's interesting. Acknowledging the uncertainty surrounding the timing of one's final chapter, Cena remained philosophical, accepting that such decisions are often beyond one's control. He reflected on his 2 decades with the WWE.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my gosh.
The wrong. Go ahead.
Recognizing, well, we don't have a clip coming up here. I'm just
no, we don't.
Recognizing the significance of that period. And okay, anyway, John Cena, blah, 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 blah. I mean, Groo... The starch. Grew the end of his year for John Cena. Any thoughts on John's appearance?
Yes. I don't like when they do this kind of thing. Like what do you
thing?
What, just like he's not going anywhere. He's going to be.
He didn't say that. He's saying though retiring from active in-ring.
He's already retired from active in-ring. If you want to look at it from a reality standpoint. He's an attraction less than the usual attraction.
But there's going to be an end date. There's going to be a final match. It's going to be a big deal, a real big deal.
All right. So
not only that, I think you're going to get a final run, 4 months, 6 months, 2 months. You're going to get a final.
That's how you want to go out.
Semi-extended, and I think he wins the championship one more time to break Ric Flair's record. Yes.
I would love that. Because what I don't want. And you're going to scoff at me for this. I don't want the goddamn Sting shit. I don't want that.
How do you compare?
Because what do you mean? How do I compare? The internet wrestling community won't shut the hell up about this.
Just you and me. Sting is. He's such an anti-AEW. There's nothing that organization could do. He really just wants to be intellectually honest with himself. He just hates AEW. I don't hate them. I'm not watching them, but I don't care that they did a final match for Sting. I'm fine with it.
Right, but
he's upset because wrestling podcasts talk about Sting and AEW like it was a big deal. It was a big deal. It doesn't have everything.
They're going to call it the match of the century, and then they're going to go to Raw and nitpick the Gunther versus Gable match because a spot was missed by an inch or something. That's what they do. But in any case, that's what you just described. Is the way they all should do it. Meaning, write their final chapter, one final run, not one final match, one final run leading up to a final match. So yes, 4 to 6 months, give them a nice final run with a championship. Doesn't even matter what it is. Just give them a belt. Let them, let them celebrate the career. Go on a retirement tour. That's what I want. Perfect.
That's I just think that's what you're going to get, and I think he will.
Is that what you would want?
Yeah, I agree with you.
I hate what they have been doing. He comes in to lose, and in some cases gets squashed.
But
that's hurting the legacy, don't you think?
No, because
really,
no, not at all, not at all. Not at all. How many times did Ric Flair lose? How many times did Hogan lose?
And look what he's doing. He's making a farce of everything he's done.
Well, that's a different thing.
You don't agree?
I don't agree. I think what Cena did was actually quite gracious, which is trying to elevate younger talent who will have a 20-year career beyond him leaving.
Yes, but do that as a more consistent thing instead of just coming in, hyping up this one thing, and then just
but he had free time, and he's a full-time actor now. So
I understand that, but what you're describing, that's what I want, and anything less would be uncivilized.
Well, all right.
But I think we could agree that's the best way to go out, right?
Well, I think that's the best way we would like to see it. Could it be just one final match? Of course, but I think they want the whatever the word is, the individual with the most championship victories to be a homegrown WWE guy through and through, and that's John Cena. That's how I see it. All right. One more thing, Groo. Sad news indeed is the WWE announced last Wednesday that Michael Jones, who wrestled under the name Virgil in WWE, and Vincent in WCW, died at the age of 61. Really young. Virgil got his break in 1986 when he signed with the WWE and began wrestling under the name Lucius Brown. But it was in 1987 when he was thrust into the spotlight. Groo, WWE rebranded him as Virgil and cast him as the bodyguard of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who was one of, if not the preeminent heel in pro wrestling in the late 1980s and early 90s. As DiBiase's bodyguard, Virgil wrestled sparingly, but he almost got involved in the $1 Million Man's matches and oftentimes helped him. With Virgil by his side, DiBiase purchased the WWE Championship from Andre the Giant, although he was never officially recognized as WWE as champion. And then, it talks about how Virgil's character became fed up with DiBiase's tyrannical ways in 1981. Virgil turned on DiBiase at the Royal Rumble in 1991 after their tag win over Dusty and Dustin Rhodes. We heard that clip up at the top. Groo, he then went to WCW. Vincent was a play on the WWE owner Vince McMahon, much like his Virgil name was in reference to real-life name of former WCW and WWE star Dusty Rhodes. Vincent was primarily used as enhancement talent, but he was often featured in significant angles thanks to his status as an NWO member. Virgil retired from wrestling in 2000, but resurfaced in WWE for a short time in 2010, when he served as the bodyguard for DiBiase's son, Ted DiBiase Jr. I vaguely remember that. Groo, a classic 90s wrestling WWF character, 61 years old. Thoughts on the passing of Mike Jones, a.k.a. Virgil?
Well, we knew that he was kind of effed up.
Did we?
Yeah, I mean, he was, I remember when you and I met him.
Kind of a laughing stock. In New York? He was kind of a laughing stock.
Yeah, he was basically walking around WrestleCon, like, begging for people to
interact with him.
Even just to notice him. And I saw an interview with him a few years ago where he was just like almost incoherent. Ugh. Just like I think they were saying how after every question, like, people were like feeding him lines, and it just came off that way. But either way, if you look back, I mean, he was never a really good wrestler.
No, he wasn't.
But he had heat because of DiBiase, and that was huge when he turned on him. But that was like his apex.
Yeah. And
he could not really carry himself as a character beyond that. Beyond that initial turn, people never bought into him as a babyface. They just should have kept it where it was. They should have kept him part of the $1 Million Corporation, because he played that part beautifully. I mean, just standing there. Even he never broke kayfabe either. Like, even if you look at like one of the music videos, like that song, If You Only Knew What it was. So if you look at that, every single wrestler in that video, whether they're a heel or a face, is doing the clap. They're dancing back and forth. And Virgil is just standing there counting the money like he always does. He's the only one who is not doing anything. So he lived and breathed that character. He sold it. And to be able to do that in the wrestling business even once is miraculous. And he got to the top, to be fair. Unfortunately, it was a very steep fall down. And 61 is not an uncommon age for these guys.
No,
it
but
just sucks.
That's a shocking number.
It is. It is. These days,
shocking
yes. These days,
number.
yes. And it's very unfortunate that he obviously went, the way he did. I mean, probably mostly alone or somewhat destitute. And it's just a bummer that people, a guy who everybody recognizes for even a short period of time. Everybody knows, every wrestling fan knows who Virgil was. They don't know who Mike Jones was, but they know who Virgil is. And it's just a shame when you see somebody like that go this way. It's such a bummer. But you know what? I am proud to say that we met him. I'm for better or worse, we met him.
This is true. Rest in peace, Mike Jones, a.k.a. Virgil. Groo. Today's Van Dammit podcast, 2008 JCVD, is brought to you by New You Life Center. Yeah, baby. Woo! Meet the New You team at www.newyoulifecenters.com. That's NUYOU lifecenters.com. Check out the photos, the biographies of the team, Marie, Erica, Brian, Shelby, and the rest of the New You staff at the New You website. You can follow New You Life Center on Instagram at New You Life Center to take advantage of their specials and monthly giveaways. Check out all of their medical weight loss programs or give them a call at 602-274-0068. Tell them that Moody and Groo sent you and receive a big 15% off your first service. New You Life Center, Phoenix Premier Med Spa for Botox, fillers, lasers, aesthetics, weight loss, hormone optimization. Yeah, baby. Yeah, Yazoo. Big Van Dammit thank you to New You Life Center. All right, let's talk about JCVD. 2008 crime drama film directed by French-Tunisian film director Mabrouk El Mekri, starring Jean Claude Van Damme as
Mabrouk.
Yeah.
My guy.
Are you familiar with Mabrouk El Mekri? I'm not.
I think that's what my dinner was called last night, and it was delicious. Cheesecake Factory.
It was at the Persian Room. There is a Persian Room, actually, if you like Persian food in Scottsdale.
They have Persian. They have food in Persia?
Yeah.
Oh. Why are we sending all our money there?
It's a lot of rice pilaf.
We are the world. Oh, wait, no, that was Ethiopia. I'm fucking horrible.
Anyway, it's starring Jean Claude Van Damme as a semi-fictionalized version of himself, down-and-out action star whose family and career are crumbling around him as he is caught in the middle of a post-office heist in his hometown of Brussels, Belgium. JCVD Groo is rated R for language and some violence. JCVD opened in New York and select cities on November 7th, 2008. All right, Groo, the concept for the film originated from a producer who had an agreement with Van Damme to play himself in the movie. The producer, knowing El Mekri was a Van Damme fan, asked him to review the original screenplay. The screenwriters had perceived Van Damme as merely a clown, but El Mekri felt that there was more to Van Damme than just what people knew from his big screen action persona and TV antics. Okay. El Mekri was influenced by Jean-Luc Godard. I feel like I know that name. Did he do?
I do.
The Bruce Willis with Chris Tucker? Golly. Fifth Element? Was there a
I don't know.
All right.
But I know he's like a famous French movie director.
I think he did do that movie. Jean-Luc offered to write a draft, and the producer asked if he could direct it as well. Actually, no, excuse me. That was for El Mekri. El Mekri agreed on the condition he could meet Van Damme first before starting to write the draft, so he would not waste 6 months on something that Van Damme might veto. El Mekri and Van Damme had some dinner where the idea of a bank heist and not knowing what has happened inside was pitched. Van Damme was thrilled with the concept after watching El Mekri's film Virgil, ironically enough. He immediately went to work with the French director. Groo, Van Damme has dinner, watches one of the films, and off we go. Is this kind of typical how we might, run through a project?
And at the stage of his career that he was at, probably, because this is completely foreign. This is This is not a big American studio thing. This was in Van Damme was kind of, I don't want to call him damaged goods at the time.
I would say bruised,
yes, but just on the not a household name anymore. So this is what would be considered, I would say, very experimental. They probably made it with the idea that they would shop it around to film festivals, which I'm guessing they did.
Probably.
So I'm sure it's pretty common for people in the kind of situation that Van Damme is. It's like, what do I have to lose? Let's try this out there idea. No one's really done this before. Let's so it's common for guys like that to be looking to sort of break out of their comfort zone when they have nothing really to lose anymore.
I thought it was interesting that El-Mekri agreed to it only if Van Damme came initially, because like he said, he didn't want to do 6 months of production only for Van Damme to veto the film. So he was like, I want to meet Van Damme first, pitch this idea before I move ahead with it.
That is very common because I'm sure that if Van Damme said no, they would have pivoted to somebody else because it's a good idea. It's just, who do you do it with? And in 2008, you could have done it with Van Damme. You could have done it with Seagal. You could have done it with Stallone. You could have done it with any of these guys. So that's what he probably had in mind. It just so happened. But yeah, it's people on the back nine in their career. It is common for people to write stuff directly for them. But you're right. What you don't want to do is invest money and time and
sure.
Then have the person you built it around completely say, meh. So that's definitely the right business model. Now, if it were 10 years earlier, then you spend 6 months saying, I got to make this as good as it can be. So Van Damme says yes. But that was when Van Damme was in the height of his career.
I mean, the cast, we can go over the casting, but really there's one name in the cast. That's Jean Claude Van Damme. I mean, are you aware that Rock Chen played the Realisteur Azatouik?
I have no idea who anybody else in this movie was or is yet to be.
Do you want me to go over the plot synopsis?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jean-Claude plays himself as an out-of-luck actor. Feel free to wedge in any comments about this. Interesting concept, as Andy said. He's out of money. His agent can't find him a decent production. He's in a custody battle, and the judge is inclined to give custody of his daughter to his ex-wife. He goes back to his childhood home of Brussels, the capital of Belgium, where he's still considered a national icon. We see some of that with the fans wanting to get his picture, almost as a jokey kind of thing.
Yeah.
He goes into the post office Groo to receive a wire transfer and finds himself in the middle of a hostage situation. Due to an unfortunate mistake, the police believe that Van Damme is responsible for the crime. Van Damme finds himself acting as the hero to protect the hostages, as well as both a negotiator and presumed perpetrator. Van Damme persuades one of the bank robbers to release the hostages. After this happens, a scuffle ensues. The brains behind the heist is shot. The police, after hearing a gunshot, storm the building. The police shoot another one of the thieves, and Van Damme is held at gunpoint by the final one. In a very, I thought, interesting twist, Van Damme briefly imagines a scenario where he takes the robber out using karate, but in reality, he just elbows him and the police get to him. Van Damme is arrested for extortion due to his making the demand of $465,000 to the law firm, which is handling the custody case, while speaking as the ringleader of the group, and is sentenced to, 1 year in prison. Final scene shows him teaching karate to the other inmates, then being visited by his mother and daughter.
It's a very good story.
You want to take a guess as to the budget of JCVD?
It was probably very small. I'm going to say it probably cost them about $8 or $9 million.
I said $12 million. Would that seem in line with?
Yeah, I mean it didn't look like a cheap movie.
No, but it doesn't look like a big production.
No.
It has a...
But it also doesn't look fake either.
No, but it looked not cheap, but if I said inexpensive, is that a real knock on the movie? It looks small.
Where they save the most money is in the casting.
Okay.
You know, you don't have any of the people, like, I don't know if any of those people were big in France, but if it's an American company paying these people, they're making scale because nobody's going to the movie to see them because nobody knows who they are. That's not a knock. It's just business.
My favorite actress is the female taxi driver when the guns go off and she goes, ah. It sounds like an alarm. She just won't shut up.
I know. And there's like phones ringing the whole movie and whatever. I have a question for you, though, because as you were going through the plot and as I was replaying in my head, I feel like they remade this a few years later.
With who?
With Birdman.
You know, I've never seen
like
Birdman.
An older. You probably wouldn't like it. It's really an acquired taste. I happen to love it. I think it's brilliant. I'm also a huge Michael Keaton fan, but that's beside the point. That was about a guy, an actor on the downward side of his career being haunted by what made him famous in the first place. And this is kind of the same thing. It's like Jean Claude Van Damme has been this action big shot for all these years, and all of a sudden he wakes up and finds himself in the middle of one of his own, kind of being haunted by the type of movie he's always been in. You know, like he finds himself in the situation, and what is Jean Claude Van Damme gonna do? The person, not the star. So it's kind of like, and Birdman came after this. I didn't even draw similarities while we were watching it. I draw similarities while you were talking about it. But it is a very original idea, and I like that they did it.
I think for 2008, it's a very. I think this whole meta thing has just been.
What does that mean, by the way? What is it? You use that word a lot, and other people do. I don't really know what it means.
We've talked about it. You've asked me about it,
and I forgot.
It's a wink and a nod. It's Jean Claude playing himself. It's meta brain. It's
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, and a guy playing himself in reality, but you're watching a movie.
It's like saying we know you get it. Just come in and all right, I get it. Okay,
all right.
I'm sure you'll have to explain it to me again, but
probably. Groo, you ready for some nothing worthwhile movie fun facts?
I am absolutely ready for some fun facts.
All right, cue it up, my friend.
All right.
Nothing Worthwhile presents Fun Facts.
Who are these fun facts brought to us by?
They're brought to us by New You Life Center. Celebrate love and beauty. Love and beauty. Oh, my God. Experience a transformation like never before. Let New You services inspire a new sense of beauty within you. Book an appointment at New You Life Centers. They're ready to see you. Whether you're a returning patient or in the beginning of stages of becoming the new you, they're excited to be part of your journey. Check them. Give them a call at 602-274-0068. Check out all of their social media. Check out New You on Instagram at @NewYou_Life Center. Thank you to New You Life Center. All right, Groo. Mabruk El Mekri and Jean Claude Van Damme had an agreement that the latter, Van Damme, couldn't yell cut to end a scene, as Van Damme has done on many of his other films.
Ooh. All right. They're right away. They're telling him, all right, listen. You're not who you were.
Okay. I mean, do actors big time call cut?
I've never witnessed it, but
excuse me.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, there are certain movies that you can sort of tell by the director. Like, the most famous examples, I think, are a guy named George Cosmatos. He directed Rambo 2, he directed Cobra, and he directed Tombstone. Remember Tombstone?
Yes.
Those three movies are notorious for basically him being a director in name only. And it was really Stallone who was calling the shots on Cobra and whatever the other one was, and it was Kurt Russell who was basically calling the shots on Tombstone. So that does happen when you have guys who aren't the Scorseses and Spielbergs and those, guys who are basically hired to come in and do what the producer tells them to do. And if the producer tells them, hey, let Stallone call the shots on this one, the director says, okie doke. So, not surprising.
According to Mabrouk El-Mekri at a Q&A at the Toronto International Film Festival, about 70% of the film was scripted and the other 30% was improvised by the actors.
I didn't pick up on that. It seemed like everything was a little bit overwritten for a movie like this that should be improvised, with the exception
of Jean Claude.
Of Jean Claude. So maybe that's the 30% they're talking about.
I would agree.
He seemed to be really giving a genuine performance there, like coming from the heart. So maybe.
The whole scene in the taxi is completely improvised. Mabrouk El-Mekri told Jean Claude Van Damme to just be nice to the driver no matter what she said.
Well, that's pretty much what he did. So I guess I'll buy that, but I've never witnessed improvising.
I love this background music.
I've never witnessed improvising in person. So, but what I have, it's improvising seems like you have to be so good, and you're like what they say in wrestling, when you're doing a promo in the ring with somebody else, it's just as important who your dance partner is, and you got to have chemistry. For improvisation to work, you got to have chemistry. It's got to be something. So I don't know how far I'd go with that. Just saying, okay, Jean-Claude, we know you're not the best actor in the world. We're going to put you in the car with this absolute stranger. Make sparks fly. It doesn't quite work that way, but maybe it did. Maybe.
I have two words. Jazz hands. Jean Claude Van Damme Groo actually has a son, but it was changed in the movie to a daughter for legal reasons. Mabrouk El-Mekri claims that the daughter's name Gloria came to him because he was listening to the Van Morrison song of the same name. I said G-L-O-R-R-R-R-G-L-O-R-I-A, Gloria. Any thoughts on son changed to a daughter in the movie?
Why do that?
I don't know.
Why do if you want to be real, be real. Why would that doesn't make sense.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah.
The opening scene was filmed at the end of the shoot for insurance reasons. It was rehearsed over an entire night, and it was shot in 4 or 5 takes. It was a pretty detailed opening fight scene.
Yeah, I love that they shoot it at the beginning. Did you say the beginning or the end?
The end of the movie.
Yeah, they shoot at the end in case somebody dies. They've already shot everything. That's so that's basically for insurance purposes. That's what you said. So that's not uncommon.
Well, I know what you said about improv, but Mabrouk El-Mekri did not write much dialogue for Van Damme, as he did not want Van Damme to be limited by the words, as Jean-Claude had his own music.
Okay, like we said, I might buy that. This was a different Jean-Claude than we've seen. Absolutely.
Well, speaking of a different Jean-Claude, I think everyone knows that the 6-minute monologue, that's the game changer for Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude Van Damme made Mabrouk El-Mekri swear not to tell anyone about the content of the 6-minute monologue he delivers straight to the camera. So El-Mekri booked off 2 hours in the 5th week of shooting, and he called it the X scene. He had a big black curtain set up, as Van Damme is a shy person, and El-Mekri didn't want him to make eye contact with anyone before or during the scene. When Van Damme talks about not wanting to die in the post office, there was a cue for the crew to bring him back into the post office by lowering the crane. There was a red light next to the camera to indicate when the camera was running empty of film.
I've seen something similar to this. When an actor really has to do something that's way out of their comfort zone, they want it to be as private as possible.
I'm not joking. Like, I've read like nude scenes or like lovemaking scenes where they block off, off other people.
Yeah.
So here, is it very reasonable for a production to block off a scene so an actor is feeling comfortable?
Absolutely, 100%. Because the key to the scene is Jean Claude being able to pretty much say whatever comes into his head. You know, it was largely improvised from what we understand, and it seemed that way too. So, I'm not surprised at all.
What'd you think of that monologue? I mean, is that? I guess I want to ask you: is that the high point of Jean Claude up to this point, acting wise?
Well, the question is, was he acting? Because he was playing Jean Claude Van Damme, but at the same time, the answer is yes. Problem in the wrong movie.
Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, look, I always ask you about the gross, but there's really not much to speak of. In the good old USA, JCVD just grossed $470,000.
I don't even remember it being in the theater.
I don't think it was. Worldwide, it just made a little bit over $2 million. Let's see here, Groo. Rotten Tomatoes. You want to give it a tomato meter based on 108 critical reviews?
Yes, because I do remember it being received well. So I am going to say, what is Rotten Tomatoes? Is it a percentage or
percentage? Yes, 0 to 100. 108 critical reviews. What do you think you got?
85.
God damn, he's good. 82%.
82, huh? Yeah, it was. I remember it being received well by critics, which had never happened to Jean Claude Van Damme before. Right?
If you don't love me, baby, yeah. Do you want to go for the audience score? Rotten Tomatoes based on 10,000 plus audience members.
Yeah, probably lower than critic because this is not a critic. This is not an audience. This is not a Van Damme darling.
I would agree with that.
So I'm going to say I don't think it broke 50%.
74.
Ooh, all right, good for him then.
Eric Price of Esquire magazine. It's tragic and funny and utterly captivating. Brian Johnson from McLean magazine. I think we have more of a reach than McLean magazine. Van Damme performs 2 virtuoso sequences in JCVD, each filmed in one extended uncut shot. Christopher Huber of CinemaScope, by pitting JCVD, the axiom, against JCVD, the person, JCVD deconstructs, here's the meta, and deepens the understanding of both. It is nothing if not a triumph of humanism.
Humanism.
I mean, come on.
Humanism.
Yeah. We are the world.
Take it easy.
Shala. We are the children. Shalingay. Sean Axemaker, stream on demand. JCVD is an action film where the flamboyant heroics occur only in the fantasy. Interesting. Van Damme's most daring stunt is a monologue dropped into the middle of the movie, a self-pitying apology. Let me scroll down here. Last but not least, Dorothy Woodard, the Tyee, British Columbia. It bequeaths to its eponymous hero a certain weary dignity after putting him through the ringer. All right, Groo, on a scale of 0 to 4, what do you give JCVD? Is JCVD's Jean Claude's Copland? Let's give me a detailed review of JCVD. What do you think?
Yes, JCVD is Jean Claude's Copland in that it contains probably his best pure acting, although I don't think Copland is Stallone's best pure acting. I truly believe the original Rocky is.
Okay, fine.
But
here's the thing. I think you can make a fair parallel because
yes,
where it happened in their timeline.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. At this point, Stallone was looked at as like he had there was baggage. So yes, however, the staying power of Copland has been minimal.
Agreed.
And JCVD as well.
Agreed.
Okay? We don't hear about it.
Agreed.
Okay? And we don't really hear about Copland.
So I feel like our reviews are going to align. Go ahead.
We should have heard about Copland more. Unfortunately, there's something that just doesn't ring, that didn't land about it, that people just don't remember it the way they should. JCVD is, I think, on a little bit of a lower level because I feel like it could have been better if they went full throttle with it and fictionalized it and made him playing a fictionalized version of himself, not named Jean Claude Van Damme, because that one scene took me out of the movie completely. Because I was so into what he was saying, I forgot that we were watching a movie, and then I couldn't really get back into it because I wanted to see more of that.
Interesting.
And I would have loved to. So that's kind of what Birdman was. That's what made me think about Birdman. It was really introspective, and all the chaos that was happening around Michael Keaton in that did not distract from that. Here it did. This was an action movie with a true dramatic center that never quite breaks through the bombs and the bullets and the explosions. So I'm going to give this 2 out of 4 stars because while I did enjoy the experience of watching it, I couldn't get past what could and should have been. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 4.
I'm going to go a little bit shorter on my review, but I think I'm kind of saying it differently, but perhaps the same or the same result. So I think in terms of good, the movie has a great look. I do think it's Jean-Claude's best performance by far, and I think that 6-minute monologue is his best work by far. Bad, meta confuses me. It confuses me. I'm not a fan of Jean-Claude playing Jean-Claude in real life. It's hard for me to buy into it.
Exactly.
I almost prefer if it was a standalone movie in which you gave him some material to grist with. So I gave it 3 stars. It's a nice movie, but I'm not ready to crown it Jean-Claude's best, despite his wonky, uneven filmography. And so when I think about Copland, I think I'm saying it as well, similar. It's a nice film, and it's small in scope. And so when you talked about impact, that's how I see it. I think it gave Jean-Claude momentum going into Expendables 2, but I don't feel like him and Stallone never really capitalized on these great performances. And so I think it's just going to be a nice film, and I don't want to simplify it, but that's all I see JCVD as. I don't see it as this, monumental acting virtuoso performance that should have taken him perhaps into better material. I feel the same way. I think Copland was bigger. It feels bigger in scope. And I don't know what Stallone...
The cast.
Yeah, I just don't know why Stallone...
surrounded by...
I feel like Stallone took that momentum and went like Expendables. And,
oh, wait, that was like 98?
All right.
No, I'm trying to remember.
Maybe I'm wrong, but...
No, I don't think you're...
I just... You're getting all this... It sounds like for JCVD, a lot of critical praise. And I think Expendables 2 was good. Good move. I think, you're going into the action stuff, and it's a big budget, and it's good and good material. And Jean-Claude's performance is universally revered in that movie. But it just sounds like for these guys, they kind of fall back into the same old traps. I don't know.
Well, what do you think of this? So the question is, who is this movie made for? Okay, because a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan wants to see what? They want to see Jean-Claude Van Damme just kicking ass constantly.
But good material, good. He's
yes, but they'll even take
replicant. Come on,
but they'll even accept bad material because they just want to see Van Damme. I mean, every movie we've seen is the same thing. We haven't really loved one of them. So
I was okay. I don't want to get into it. Okay,
right. But
I think you could criticize every one of his movies. Sure.
Yes. So my point is this movie is not what Van Damme's got a new movie out. He's going to kick ass. This isn't for that. This isn't for those people. This is 90% dubbed. That hurt me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because especially why are they dubbing him? It didn't even sound like him. Half the time. Sometimes it did, but sometimes it didn't.
Agreed.
So, so it's not made for the Van Dammers, and it's not made for the film aficionados. It's not made for like our parents because they would never go see a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. So who is this movie made for? Now, if you take that and you Americanize it and make it into the fictional work that you and I were talking about and build it that way, and say Van Damme is playing a down, and he has to come out of that comfort zone and play a different person, not Jean Claude Van Damme. Make up one of those stupid names from the movie, Jack Roy, like one that makes no sense, but make it satirical enough where it doesn't quite go to the meta phase, but it's fun. And that way, when it does turn serious, you're with him. Here, it just plops in there, the monologue. It like plops in there, and it's great when it's there.
It is great.
It's great when it's there,
monologue.
but it doesn't connect enough to the rest of what's going on around. That's all.
The monologue really moved me, and I think the scene at the end in prison, and then when he sees his daughter, that reaction was really good acting work. It's funny. We watched JCVD on Tubi, and then actually when it was over, they had like every one of Van Damme's sort of interesting and crappy straight to streamers, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a treasure trove of movies. I won't say bad because I and I'm like, oh my God, so many movies to follow up on, and we have a
see if Van Damme really wanted to achieve what he seems to have wanted to achieve with this.
Don't they all want, critical praise and commercial?
Yes, but he wanted, You got to go with the pros. And I feel like he needs a Quentin Tarantino to like write a part that's specifically for him. And, do what he did with Travolta, with Pulp Fiction. And just Tarantino's good at that.
Yeah.
Because he sees the qualities that are often hidden, especially with a guy like that. Like if anybody could make Steven Seagal look good again, it would be a Tarantino. He would be like, play into your stereotype. Like, accept it. You're a fat fuck who used to be the hottest thing in the world, and you're pissed off about it, and that's your motivation, action. That's what these guys need.
The only thing I know about Seagal is as he's gotten older, his waistline and hairline are both expanding.
Yeah,
it's a very strange. I wonder how that happens.
I want whatever he's doing with his hair. I want some.
All right, Andrew. 2000. Yeah, JCVD is definitely a unique nugget in the Van Damme universe,
but enjoyable to watch.
I agree
because it was different. It wasn't.
I agree with you. It's like in the moment I'm enjoying it, but after it was over, I didn't have this overwhelming like, my God, that was an opus.
Yeah, it's easy to forget.
Yeah. All right. Girl, give us one thing you're watching this week. I don't got much myself. What do you got?
Did I react to your record? Yes, I did. The We Are the World.
Yes,
I did. All right. So one thing I'm watching this week, interestingly enough, it's a show that has been on apparently for 30 years. I've never actually watched it until I watched one episode last week, and I'm kind of hooked. And that is Law and Order. I have never watched Law and Order, and I stumbled upon an episode. I saw the description of it, of the story of the episode. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I was like, wow, is every episode like this? And my mom is a huge Law and Order fan. Yeah. She's like, yeah. I'm like, I got to start watching this thing. So I've watched like 10 episodes in the last couple weeks, and it's great. And the coolest part about it is it really doesn't matter where you pick it up or where you could throw on any episode at any time, because they're all kind of standalone. They don't really make you follow characters throughout an arc like with this. It's basically, it starts here and it ends here. So I'm really enjoying it. So I can sort of see why Law and Order has been on, and so many iterations of it.
What, 20 years?
More than that.
30?
The original Law and Order has been on. I don't know if the original is still on anymore. I'm watching. I put them all into one basket.
Gotcha.
So I think what I saw was like Special Victim Unit or something. But to me, it doesn't matter. The procedural nature of it, I'm like, man, I was late to the game on this. So, Law and Order I'm watching this week.
I got nothing really great.
Not Silver Spoons or anything?
No, I mean, I started watching Love is Blind Season 6 on Netflix. Yeah, I'm like a woman. I watch like dating reality shows. I'm telling you, though, you're a Max guy. Love in Translation is the greatest reality dating show of all time. I think I talked about it, but they take 3 American men, all in their 20s, prime of their life, ripped. One guy's an ex-Division I football player, and they put them on like an island with 15 women from all over the world who don't speak one lick of English.
Awesome.
And they go on dates, and they have to they communicate through visual, and each one is more exotic than the next. Beautiful, skimpy bikinis. It's literally softcore pornography, and I love it.
What's it? It's on Max?
Yeah, Love in Translation. We put it on. We'll watch it right after this.
I don't think I could handle it right
I don't know. It's incredible. Brazilian girls, Korean. Oh, my
Speaking of Brazilian, no, wait, we can't do that.
Oh. Anyway. Yeah, I just nothing much on TV for me this
nothing
week.
Much. There's an overabundance of things. That's the problem. There's too much shit on. You don't know what to watch.
Okay, I'll give you one thing I watched, and it disappointed me.
Go ahead.
I watched Spaceman on Netflix with Adam Sandler, the new Adam Sandler.
Jennifer Aniston?
No, it's 2024. It's a science fiction vehicle for. I'm surprised you didn't hear of this.
No, I'm surprised you haven't given up on those.
Paul Dano plays the voice of an alien. So basically, I'll give you the setup real quick. Sandler is a Czechoslovakian cosmonaut, and he's been. Well, It's a serious movie.
Really?
So, yeah, it's a serious turn. So he's been in space for years, and the space agency is not being truthful. They're preventing him from communicating with his wife, so he's not hearing from her. So his mind's starting to wander, and he's been isolated. And they've discovered a cloud system that may be the origins of the universe. And one day he wakes up in his spaceship, and there's an alien in his spaceship that can speak to him through his mind. Speaks English, of course, voiced by Paul Dano. And at first he's threatened by him, but it's a friendly alien, and the alien could read his mind, is like an empath. And my thing is to really be real quick about it. It tries to be 2001: A Space Odyssey in this very deep messaging and meaning about life and relationships. And I don't know if 2024, if that really plays with people and plays with me. I found myself losing interest. I don't need alien blood and guts, but it's just, I think people are very cynical. And in 1970, whatever, 2001 was this deep, godlike movie with imagery, and 2024 it tries to be on a certain level. It just never really clicked with me.
Well, that's a shame, because anytime Sandler
he's good
steps out of the Adam Sandler movie, so that you're saying this is not an Adam Sandler movie. It's a movie with Adam Sandler.
Yes, it's not like Happy Gilmore.
It's not a Happy Madison production.
No, it's not.
So usually when he does that and he puts himself in the hands of somebody capable, he usually comes through, like Uncut Gems and
his performance,
Punch Drunk Love.
His performance is good. I didn't buy the accent. It's
What was the accent in this?
It's Czechoslovakian. Like I didn't.
Oh, real? Oh, yeah.
Came across a little.
Why would he?
A little grimy. Isabella Rossellini is in it as the head of the space agency.
She's talented. She's good.
I mean, we can watch it. I'd be curious as to your thoughts.
No, you said you don't like it. I don't know. Why would I want to watch something you don't like?
It didn't click with me, and I said to myself, I don't know in 2024 if it's a cynical nature or low attention span, but it's going for a very deep sort of meaning, and I didn't.
Now, when Sandler, the Czechoslovakian, is talking to the voice in his head, is it Schneider going, "You can do it"?
No, it's not.
None of that? Then I'm out. I don't want to watch it.
All right. Well, speaking of Groo, Adam Sandler, when we return back to the mothership, Nothing Worthwhile, we'll say one final farewell to Carl Weathers. Carl takes a punch at comedy with 1996 Happy Gilmore, starring a very young Adam Sandler. Andrew, Happy Gilmore.
Well, you forgot about the real star of that movie, Bob Barker.
True.
But, yeah, Happy Gilmore, I'm looking forward to that. I've only actually seen it once, and I remember loving it. It's not my favorite Adam Sandler movie, but it's in the top 5. So definitely looking forward to seeing Happy Gilmore and talking about it.
Always remember running into Christopher McDonald at the Dan Marino Golf Classic with Andrew Gruthius.
Shooter McGavin.
Taking pictures with Shooter McGavin. And he was actually, if I remember, a very nice, gracious guy.
Yep, absolutely.
Groo, we may go back-to-back Van Dammit because it's the last of our first run of Van Damme movies. Now, then we're going to go to my secondary list. This is my prime list.
Oh, okay.
One. Just work with me here.
I didn't say anything. I was just looking.
You looked at me quizzically with his Tootsie Pop. This one includes Jean Claude and many of his action hero brethren. Groo, it's 2012, The Expendables. Jean Claude, Sly, and the rest of the action heroes. Choose your weapon. Every movie has a hero. This one has them all. Groo, Jean Claude, and The Expendables 2.
Can't wait. I mean, this movie I've seen a couple times. I mean, is it a spoiler for me to say that I love this movie?
Well, you can give us that, but you'll go into more detail.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to watching it again, removed a few years. I remember saying before on this very program that this is Jean Claude Van Damme's best performance.
Really?
I've said that
I believe
before.
you have, yes.
I've said that before.
Okay.
And I love his turn as the villain. And I'm looking forward to seeing it again. And I hope it's as good as I remember it. I remember loving. Well, I'll save it.
Expendables 4. Did it kill the franchise? Or are they still going on with these?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't see it. No interest in seeing it. Mostly because, from what I understand, Stallone is basically a cameo. And why would I want to? I'm not interested. I heard it was terrible. And why would? Unless it made money. Maybe if it continues, it'll continue as like direct to streaming. That you know, maybe it make these movies make money foreign. They don't. From what I understand, Expendables 4 was a very low budget. That's what hurt it a lot, but that also saves a lot of money. And if you're going to make hundreds of millions overseas on a small budget, and the name of the game is money, so. Maybe.
Look, guys, I got 6 days left in Florida. A lot of couch, a lot of sitting on my fat tuchus. I want to thank Andrew. He is the best, the most gracious host of all. Groo, we'll try to turn around and get back quick on the Expendables 2. Hope everyone enjoyed this podcast. Take us out of here.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on this very special live edition, an in-person edition of Nothing Worthwhile. Actually, it's Van Dammit as part of our esteemed Last of the Action Heroes
they love
podcast
us. They
network.
love us on
They
Last
absolutely do. They really they show us so much affection, always asking us to join and help and give whatever tidbits of information about things that I just really love the collaboration.
I feel
spirit.
I feel there's a hidden message there.
There is no hidden message anywhere. But ladies and gentlemen, next week or hopefully within the next couple days,
absolutely,
we'll be hitting you with Happy Gilmore, starring the great Adam Sandler. We'll also be going back to The Expendables Part 2.
That's right.
With the great Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and of course, our buddy Jean Claude Van Damme. Ladies and gentlemen, until then, I have just one thing to say to you, and that is no retreat.
No surrender. Quack, quack.